just went all funny on me. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. We just had a few technical problems at the beginning then, but hopefully I've got it all sorted out now. My guest today is Sue Luden. Sue has worked as a medium for over 20 years. She started as a platform as a psychic artist. She has been seeing spirits since she was little. She ran a spiritual church in Folkestone for 5 years. Sue taught healing, spiritual development, and also she's an ordained minister. I am in the past co-host spiritual radio shows and wrote some spiritual development articles for a magazine. My motto, how and I try to live, are some words from St. Paul's healing. Healing is a love. Let all you do be done in love. Can we please welcome Sue to the show? Hello there.
Hi there, Bob. Thanks for having me.
And it's nice to get you back on the show for so long. How did it all start for you?
What kind of my mediumship?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I have seen since I was a little girl, kind of also, and my whole life I've had weird and wonderful things happen. And then I suppose kind of teenage years, like most people, they go quiet and goes all quiet. And then I suppose when I was about 18, things started happening again. I had loads of activity, and wherever I lived, I'd have really strange things happening, and things fly across rooms. Just the weirdest thing. I had a house in I didn't know much about this way of life, and I had a house in St Mary's Bay down in Kent, and I got the priest out to exorcise it because I really thought there was something quite wrong. Yeah, so he came out and nothing changed, so we moved, and then the same happened again when we moved. So I had a friend come round who was a medium, and they said, they're just trying to get your attention, Sue. They really want your attention, and they want you to develop because you can do what I do. And so yes, really that's how I started. And I kind of sat on a circle, but I had the funniest thing happen to me kind of as a late teens, and I shared a flat with this Scottish girl, and it makes me laugh to think about it because she spoke the broadest Scottish, and she used to make me watch Rabsy Nesbitt just so that I could understand her. And it didn't help in the slightest, but she used to moan at me for chopping cucumber on the side. I used to think, oh, I'll quickly chop it, not get a chopping board. And she used to moan at me she used to moan at me all the time. And she used to say, use a chopping board. So I used to, and she was out this one day, and I went to chop the cucumber on the side, and the chopping board flew off the draining board behind me and hit me in the back of the head. And I used to have like really strange things like that happen. So really they were just trying to get my attention. And as soon as I started developing, it kind of calmed down.
Yeah, by all accounts, you were a psychic artist as well.
Yeah, well, I worked with a lovely medium kind of down in Kent called Daphne Webb, the flower lady. She's lovely. And I kind of came across her path, her and Sue Pollard. And she took me around with her. So she did the mediumship, and I'd do art, and all these faces would come to me, and I don't know how it happened. I'd just draw these faces, and I'd sit behind her quietly, in my own little world, drawing these faces, and she'd give them out with her readings. And then we turned up at a church in Kent this one time, and she said to me, oh, by the way, I'm working somewhere else tonight. You're doing the mediumship. And kind of, that was the best way. Wow. As shocked as I was at the time, that was the best way, because I don't think if she'd done that, I don't know whether I'd have done platform work, but I loved it. And Spirit never did. Yeah, they never let us down, Spirit. If we
what have you been doing since you were last on the show?
Well, we've been really busy with Tony's healing, because you've come and had some healing with Tony.
Yeah, I did do,
Yeah, with Dr. John, who works through Tony. So we've been busy kind of setting up clinics. So we've got clinics in Kent, Hertfordshire, Leicestershire, and we're going to start one in Reigate soon. So that's kind of...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so for anybody who's in pain with, back pain...
Can you just give us tell everybody who's listening to the show about his work and being a psychic surgeon?
Well, he kind of so if anybody knows Ray Brown, kind of he wanted, as he's slowing down now, he ran clinics all over the country. He wanted someone to take over patients, so they weren't left without. So they invited Tony to train with him. So he's got a doctor from Spirit that works through him. He's a neurosurgeon, and there's other doctors that do too. But so he can help with anything from sciatica to stomach problems to you name it, if people are in pain. And in this day and age, there's so many people in pain and can't get an appointment. And I mean, you've experienced this healing.
I have.
Yeah. So he can pinpoint a trapped nerve and untrap it with, if you've got sciatica, or he can, there's so much kind of for the body. So yeah, so we're kind of concentrating on doing those clinics and opening up more as time goes by. But if anybody wants to find us, we're at www.hishealinghands.co.uk. So you'll find us on there, or on Facebook as well. But that's our website. So if anybody wants more information, they can just kind of contact.
It's interesting work people do like that. I had a guy on my show a couple of weeks ago, and he's a psychic surgeon in America.
Yeah,
I'll send you his name.
Yeah, do.
No, he's in the UK. I'll tell a lie. But I'll send you his name and everything.
Yeah, do.
When the show finishes, and you can get in touch with him. He's a fantastic guy as well. Very similar to John.
Yeah.
But he's got, I think who he's got working with him now. A famous healer many years ago who used to work outside of London. He'll come to me later. Anyway. So you're still been doing platform work?
Yes, I'm doing platform, and I'm teaching, because I teach healing as well. So we've just set up a new healing course that people can do. So they can do it like long distance, or they can come and do like classes with me up here in Scarborough. And we've got kind of healers joining from all over the world, all over the country. So that's really good, kind of, because I teach through the ICSP. So we're kind of busy setting up that and healing clinics, and but it's wonderful, isn't it? Because kind of we're all working for spirit, and
well, I think nowadays, because a lot of people haven't got a lot of money, they get worried, there's things going wrong in their life, and it's nice, but there's people like both of you what can help people.
Well, do you know,
even the little message might mean a lot to a person.
Yeah. And I think at the moment it's so difficult to get a doctor's appointment, or to get, to get kind of seen, and people are spending so much time, kind of with trapped nerves and with all this pain, stomach pain, all the different things that we kind of can help. And kind of, as you know, like how John works, he can pinpoint a nerve that's trapped and just untrap it. He can work on the stomach. He can, it's just incredible what they can do. And I think, we have people come that haven't been able to move their shoulder for kind of, or neck. We had one lady wasn't able to turn her neck. She hadn't been for years, and she just came along, and John went, "Oh, there it is, ping," and she could move. It's just incredible what spirit can do.
It is very incredible what he does. I've had first-hand experience.
Yeah,
when he because he goes in a trance, and then he comes out of it. Tells you to sit on the side of the bed, and then he asks you all these questions. Where's your pain?
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do. And he puts his hand on you, and you can feel it straight away.
Yeah. And there's no
energy on your body.
Yeah, and he doesn't fumble around. He goes exactly where you need him to untrap, and kind of like it's just incredible. And he's the most beautiful Dr. John, who works through Tony, is just the most beautiful soul. He's just the most wonderful, because spirit kind of come they come with so much love and empathy, and it kind of, a lot of people that come to the clinic are moved to tears sometimes, because I suppose that being out of pain, but also this lovely energy that he brings is just wonderful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I thank God every day that we're on this wonderful journey. I really do.
The point about it is people won't believe what he does as a job.
No, absolutely not. And you couldn't get, I say to people, you couldn't get any more different, because John's this wonderful American. He's got this, kind of, and Tony's from Croydon. So you couldn't get, more.
Yeah, I know. Down to earth blow, works on the roads.
Yeah.
And everything like that. Down to earth blow.
There you go.
And then the next minute he's an healer.
Yeah. Yeah.
A psychic surgeon.
Yeah, and it's not something that he ever, ever thought he would do, or could do.
How did he get into that then?
Well, we were invited to come up here to kind of to Scarborough to help with the church and to help kind of, with kind of all the teachings up here and the healing and everything. And of course, kind of Ray Brown, his wonderful healer, has been working for over 50 years now. So he kind of asked, they were starting to slow down, and Paul, who works through Ray, kind of said, as we're slowing down, I don't want to leave my patients with nobody. I don't want to leave. There's all these people in pain, and we don't want to leave them with anybody. And then they kind of said to Tony, would you be willing to do this? And he kind of said to us, once you embark on this journey, you can't change your mind, because so much work has to go in spirit kind of for this journey to happen. So so Tony's trained with him over many years now, and we've been doing our own clinics now for a couple of years, and we've got more opening this year. We're going to open Reigate, and then hopefully kind of Bury St Edmunds and different ones. So where the patients are, we'll go.
That's brilliant. And so you're doing awareness classes then?
Well, kind of, I do it, but at the moment I'm doing healing. I'm teaching healing. So we've got a lovely healing course that's starting, and anybody can do it. Kind of, it can be long distance, kind of from.
Where do you do that from? Is it on here?
So Zoom. Some of the classes we do on Zoom. If you can get to see us at Scarborough, you can come and join the class there. And then what we do with those that are learning kind of distance, we have one-to-ones, we have Zoom, and then we're going to have 2 weekends a year in the middle of the country where people can come for a whole weekend of healing, of meditation, of breath work, community. We're going to go out for meals. It's going to be a really wonderful kind of community of healers that we bring together, and hopefully we can spread this, healing and love. And our course, I was speaking to somebody the other day, Bob, who paid over £2,000 to learn to heal.
Oh my
and
God.
and then I spoke to somebody else who spent £300-400. Our lovely course is £50. It's £50. That gets you your training manual. It's accredited. You're a qualified healer at the end of it. So you get your training manual. You get a beautiful book of teachings that we give you kind of as our gift. You get you do a little multiple choice thing at the end of the year, and you get your certificate, your ID badge, and all of that. So that's all included in this £50, which is just, and it's the most beautiful healing. Well, you've experienced it. So Paul,
I have, because I know Alex is in the chat room there. Alex will probably come to one of your classes because he wants to be a healer as well.
Yeah, get him to come along. I'm starting a new one in Scarborough, which is going to be starting in 19th of July. We're going to start that. But if people want to do it as just come to the odd classes, or they want to just do Zoom and do it distance, or they want to just come to the weekends, however people want to do it, we want them to learn to heal, and we want to do it in the most accessible and comfortable way. You know what I mean? Because like healing is love. And I do believe that healing is love, and that all we should do should be done in love. We're here to help each other, to make lives easier. And what better form to give healing?
And do you think everybody can do that then?
Absolutely. I kind of sometimes hear somebody say, you've got healing hands. And I kind of think everybody has. Anybody that can feel love or feel that capacity to love another person or to have empathy can put their hands on and heal. Absolutely.
Yeah, because, I've got healing hands. I know I have. And many a time I go touch somebody, go, oh my God, Bob, your hands are so hot. I said, well, I'm an healer. I don't use it a lot, but if you've got any pains, let me have a go at you.
And some people are very like Bob. Some people are really natural, so it comes natural, and you may find that you pick up on people's aches and pains. Like if someone's got a headache, you may feel it, or So some people are very naturally like that. Same as mediumistic. Like some people can pick up a violin and play it straight away. Other people have to practice. So so that's what the healing course is about. It's about teaching you how to become a more clear and loving channel to allow spirit to bring that, and the spirit doctors to work through you or work with you. And it's not psychic surgery we're teaching, because that's a very kind of niche thing, and it takes a lot of training and work from spirit to do that. So this is hands-on healing, so that spirit doctors come and work with you and help you to heal kind of and you can the course teaches one-to-one, three-handed healing, so three people together, animal healing, working with children, all the law, legal stuff and all that. So
I think that's a good thing as well. healing children.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's a big thing because a lot of children nowadays, because they've got all these HDs and all something going wrong with them, it's the food they're eating, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
personally,
yeah,
why they're out of control, a lot of these young'uns,
yeah. And
unfortunately.
yeah, and we're putting so many more chemicals in the food and in the products that you're using on their bodies, and you know what I mean. There's so much because going back, and I kind of there's all sorts going on that maybe going back that didn't have or children weren't kind of didn't have around them. You know what I mean? They weren't absorbing all those different things. But I do believe that healing is wonderful for children and animals. You know, with it's kind of you find it with a lot of animals that we used to have a lady when I taught in Folkestone, used to bring our dog along and it would just go fast asleep. As soon as it laid on the bed, oh, it was out for the count and it loved it. Yeah. And they
I
just
love
love
all that.
healing.
I know
Yeah.
Alex is just saying now, here, I'll just show you. I've been told a few times I'm an healer. I will be in touch with you at some point as I would like to develop this.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
then he's just saying further down here, I'll get
I'm
you
not
on.
seeing any
Any
messages.
advice, please, for budding platform medium?
Well, kind of like so a budding medium, I'd say find a circle. So find a circle, go to your local church. I've got the messages up now so I can see them. So yeah, so a local spiritualist church. I don't know where you're based. And go along there. I went along to a
In
circle
Beverley, but
in Beverley.
it comes to Brid quite a few times.
Okay, well, kind of like so. Find a local group that does a circle or a local medium. That so if you find a medium that you like locally, you may find that they'll run a circle. So it's about being drawn. And I always say that sometimes you'll go along to a circle and you don't gel with people or whoever's running it. Well, find a different one. You know,
I
don't
agree
give
with
up.
that.
Yeah, because
I totally agree with that because
yeah,
I know for the fact people fall out
yeah, it's so much.
for no reason at all.
Yeah,
And I think Alex had said he'd fallen out with somebody. I said, don't worry about it.
no,
I said, because there'll be opportunity for you to go somewhere else.
yeah. And unfortunately, there's a lot of ego in this way of life. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of kind of like bitchiness. I don't know what you want to call it, but there's a lot of that. But there's also a lot of good, and there's a lot of loving people, and there's lots of so there's a balance in everything. You know what I mean? When I set up my centre in Folkestone that I had running for many years, I used to go around in Kent doing platform. And for years, you'd go to some places and people would be praying in the church. They'd be all kind of holier than thou. And then I'd go outside and they'd be having a cigarette and bitching about somebody in the thing. And my mum used to come with me along and we used to go on the car on the way back. We used to say, isn't it funny how people all kind of like, you know, they're all like, oh, yes, holier than thou in the church. And then outside, you know what I mean? They're running everybody down. And I thought, I really would like to create a space or a church or where there wasn't any of that. There wasn't, and my little church that I had, and we had the most wonderful people come, and I'd always make it clear. And I said, we are a community. This is a safe space for anybody to come to, and I won't have that. And if we had anybody that came along, you know, I'd pull them up and say, come on, you know, we're being loving spirits.
Family.
Yeah,
We're family.
Yeah, exactly. And surely we're here on this earth plane to make each other's lives better.
We are. We're here. Exactly. We're here to help everybody when we can. You know, because there's somebody might come to that church, might be living on their own, might be having a few bad times in their life.
Yeah.
And it's nice to welcome people.
Absolutely.
So if you sit down, we'll have a drink, we'll have a tea after, and a few biscuits. You'll get to know people. Absolutely. And if you like it, you'll come again.
And everybody had a hug as they came in. Even if they didn't want one, they got one as they came in. You know, we really kind of tried to, and we used to have meals and we went on holidays. We used to do trips. It was a real community because I think, unfortunately, that's what's missing in this day and age is that sense of community. Yes. And some people don't speak to, apart from maybe somebody at the, you know, the cash point in the supermarket, some people don't speak to somebody from one end of the week to the next, do they? You know.
It's true that.
Yeah.
I remember going to Sony years ago. And you get talking about being a medium, and some people try and put you down. And I said, have you ever been to church? Say, no. I said, why don't you come with me? Come in separately.
Yeah.
You go sit at one side, and I'll sit at the other side. And if you get a message, tell me if they're spot on or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, this person got a message, and after she went, how did they know that?
Yeah.
I said, well, there you go. Did
Yeah.
you, was the message right? She said, yes. I said, well, there you go. And she went every week after that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? And I kind of think, that it kind of captures you. And I think there's a real I kind of think it's a real importance to being a medium. There's a real etiquette and there's a real responsibility for how the messages you give out and how you do, because you can do a lot of good, but you can also do a lot of damage in that way. So for anybody kind of developing as a medium, I'd kind of say, learn the etiquette and learn kind of and recognize that there's real value in your messages, but also you can do a lot of damage. I'll kind of give you an example, Bob. I had a lady who came to me for a sitting many years ago now, and her husband came through, and the things he was showing me were awful, and I kind of said he's just sorry, and he spent the whole message kind of apologizing to her. And afterwards we sat and talked, and I kind of said to her, why? Because she was with him for 40 years until he died. I said, why did you stay with him so long when he was just awful to her? He beat her and he just made her life a living misery. And I said, why did you stay? And she said, well, years ago, she said, I was on Brighton seafront or some kind of seafront. She said, and I went to see this kind of medium that was in this caravan thing. And she said, this medium brought my mum through, and it was my mum. She gave me all this evidence about my mum. And then she said, you're going to meet a man called Brian, kind of with dark brown hair. And she said, and about 4 weeks later or whatever, she says, I was in the pub and this chap came up to me and he was Brian and he had brown hair. And she said, and so I thought, well, this is going to be the man that my mum wants me to spend the rest of my life with. And I kind of said to her, but I wonder how many Brians there are with brown hair in the world, or how,
exactly.
Yeah. And so I kind of feel that there's a real, and that kind of really, at that time, that gave me a good lesson to being really careful how I say things, how I give things across, because spirit aren't the oracles. They don't know everything about everything, and sometimes they're just giving their opinion like they would if they were on the earth plane anyway. They don't know any better. They kind of, so I think it's about, you really need to learn that there's a real etiquette to it, you know what I mean? But find somebody you're comfortable with. I kind of think, find a medium that you kind of think, oh, I like how they work, or I like how and get them to teach you or get them to kind of guide you.
It's true what you're saying there, because you could say something and could upset somebody.
Oh,
you've got to be careful. And if spirit comes through and you think, I can't say that, I'll have to say something else.
And that's the thing, because kind of, especially if you're doing platform work, spirit can come through and they want to say whatever they want, but sometimes it's a bit private. So sometimes you have to say to spirit, no, I'm not saying that in an audience, And especially if you've got like somebody's dad that's come through that had a sense of humor, that might have been a bit of a practical joker. They might want to say things that really aren't appropriate, So it's a real kind of it's a real kind of you have to manage kind of things, manage spirit, I think.
Have you thought about writing a book then about healing?
Do you know, you're the third person that said that to me recently. You're kind of like, it keeps coming up. So
yes.
maybe about kind of we might do about John and Tony in the future. I don't know.
I think it's worth doing that. Yes.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
And I tell you what would be a good thing as well. I know you say you do a booklet for when you do a thing like that, but a small little book about healing for children, there's something like that for parents to use.
Well, we quite often, if people come into clinic, or kind of, we quite often just explain to them about just putting your hands on. If you kind of send a thought up to spirit and say, I'd like to do some healing on a child, or some healing on kind of as long as it's a child, you've got the parents' permission. So kind of send a thought up to spirit, give them 20 minutes notice or whatever, and just say, I'd like to do some healing on a child, on an animal, on anybody, and send that thought up, and then just put your hands on them. Literally just put your hands on them. I always say you're always best putting it kind of maybe at the top of the neck and the bottom, so it's along that kind of nervous system, so then everything is run by nerves. So if you kind of go across there somewhere, and go out to wherever it's needed, and just sit, it kind of, our healing is 4 minutes. That's all, 4 minutes, and it's kind of it works wonderfully. And just say a prayer of intention, whatever you want to do. Put your hands on and just send love, or just imagine sending love, sending. It's as simple as that.
I'll tell you what's very difficult for young mothers when they're first starting out with a young child and screaming all the time and thinking, God, I wish the child would. And believe it or not, all them years ago, my lad's 50 odd now, and we had a really awful time with him.
Yeah.
For about 4 years. He would not sleep, he's cried. And I used to go in and put my hands on him.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was meant to do that at that time. Like, and I kept saying, you're going to be fine. Just relax.
Yeah.
Just relax. Let's have some peace so we can both, me and your mum can sleep.
Yeah.
Because we're going through this difficult time. I used to ask for Jesus to come in and help. And he did do. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, one night, he went right through.
Well, touch is so powerful. Touch. Yeah, touch and touch, love and healing. And that's, your love as well, kind of at that time. And, it's such a powerful thing.
Yeah, because it must be difficult for a young mother, especially if it's the first child.
Yeah.
And they're listening to the mom saying, well, you've got to finish sooner or later. You've just got to get up at middle at night, feed the baby, do this, do that.
And it is, I think I had my son, I've got three children, and my middle son, Michael, who's now 30, he's kind of but he was 1.5 pounds when he was born. He was born just after 24. He was just after 24 weeks. Yeah. So he kind of like was in special care for a long time. And then when he came home, and I don't think he slept for the first 3 or 4 years. And it kind of was, but they talked about this kind of skin to skin touch. So putting him just on your bare skin and kind of that, that kind of way is really good for babies. And I kind of think it's just that touch, isn't it? That feel of the, the mother's love, makes such, but I do believe touch kind of is in any way.
Yeah, I do. I believe what you said there. I think it does help, and it helps everybody, even an old lady. What might be? I went to see a lady not long ago. Says she's got aliens in her house. I thought, oh God, she's rang us up quite a few times. I said to Paul, "Come on, we better go see her." Yeah. She was devastated in her life, so I keep ringing her up. Don't have to, but I do. And she always says, Bob, thank you for ringing me. I feel lonely.
Oh, and so many people are. It's just a real epidemic at the moment, Bob. Loneliness is such a and it's such a kind of damaging thing. We're not meant to. I think they're kind of saying now that loneliness or kind of this disconnection with people is a bigger killer than some of the health things we go through. They're recognizing that those people with bigger social circles and bigger live longer. It has a real kind of positive effect on your life.
It's funny saying that because, I live on my own, but there's sometimes when I'm on my own and I think, what am I doing here? Yeah. And I think, but I always say to myself, you've got to get up in the morning. You've got to get out.
Yeah.
Still do your charity work at the RSPCA.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm 78. You've got to get up and get out.
Yeah.
No, you sitting about feeling sorry for yourself.
No, because it does you no good.
Going down the nick. So I do, and they'll say, "Oh God, I'm good." How do you do it? I say, "Well, you've got to do it."
Yeah, yeah. And I think sometimes people have something that just drives them to do it. But a lot of people feel stuck, don't they? They feel stuck and they feel kind of caught in a circle of, I think sometimes, because I'm a counsellor and psychotherapist, as well as doing all the other stuff, I'm qualified. So kind of I have clients that I work with too, but I kind of think that a lot of people get stuck in their and it feels safe to them where they, where they are, and going out can be very scary. I kind of think, especially after COVID and all the lockdown, I think a lot of people are isolating themselves, a little bit more. So reaching out to somebody and just a phone call is such a wonderful thing. That's wonderful.
Oh, Yeah. Hey, just reminded me I'm going to ring her tonight. Just out of the blue. When she
It
won't
doesn't take
expect
much, does it?
anything like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and take her out for a coffee and hopefully try and get her in RSPCA. She's in her 80s, but she's quite
Yeah.
a fit lady for
Yeah.
her age. She's just got this thing about aliens being in her house.
Oh.
And they're there 24/7. And she's having banging headaches. She's been, she's had x-rays done of her brain. She hasn't got Alzheimer's. They can't find nothing wrong with her at all. Nothing. She keeps getting these deep pains in her head.
Oh. It's there's so much we don't know. I think there's so much, you know what I mean, that we kind of are not aware of. But it's lovely that you do that. That kind of, I imagine to her it means so much that you just take that time, and it doesn't.
Oh, it does. It
Yeah.
does. Definitely. What time we got to? Oh, 1/2 already. 30 minutes has gone already.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to do a few readings, I know one of the girls who works in the shop said, "Oh, Bob, will you ask her so and so?" I said, "I will do." God,
Mhm.
God. They call her Julie.
Yeah.
She's lost 2 sons
Okay.
in, I think they were about 17, 18, all them years ago. She wants to know, has any of them got any words for her mother?
Okay. I'm just going to kind of see who's around. Were there different times though, or?
Yes.
That's what I feel. As they come in, I kind of feel they weren't. It didn't happen at the same time. It happened at different times. Kind of like and I kind of feel one of them was quite a joker. I kind of feel a real kind of like wicked sense of humor, like a real, you know what I mean, kind of like
Yeah.
whereas I kind of feel with the other energy a little bit more serious, a little bit more up and down as well in my moods. So I kind of feel that as they come in, they're very different energies wanting to come in and connect with her. I do feel though the one that's a real joker lets her know that he's around, so he'll do things around her home. So I feel he moves stuff and he kind of, you know what I mean, flick lights and pick, you know, you name it, he gives it a good go. And also I feel he's laughing because he likes to make her jump or likes to make her, so I don't know whether she'll have things like something banging or something kind of that makes her jump or makes her because he laughs, he says, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare you," but he's that's his humor. That's his humor as he comes through. But I kind of feel, I don't know, I feel very sad with this other, not that he's sad now, this kind of, because I kind of feel they'd been grown men now, kind of.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that around the time of this this young man's passing, not this other one, there's a real sadness. I kind of feel he was in a real dark or low place, or I just feel the sense of that around him, or that kind of like but not that he feels that now. He's just taking me back to that time, or that kind of at that place. But I do feel kind of they'll just keep letting her know that now. He walks with her in her dream state, so I kind of feel that she must dream about him, or must, because I kind of feel he goes and walks with her in her dream state, or and also they're quite kind of like as I'm looking at them, they're quite kind of like tall, strapping lad kind of thing. You know what I mean? I kind of feel this kind of energy about them. And there's this little lady that stood in between them. So I kind of feel this must be maybe a grandmother figure kind of that links with them, or kind of on that. But she's only very little. So they kind of like tower over her, or they kind of, you know, as she's quite little. So she's coming in to kind of be remembered and say hello to. Now, they're talking about forms, or something to do with financial forms, or filling in these forms to do with finances, and they're kind of saying, don't be too proud. Don't kind of don't be too proud. Don't, you know what I mean? Kind of like do it.
Yeah.
Just get it done. They really want them to get, because I kind of feel she's worrying about money and different. You know what I mean? I kind of feel she's got all these worries going on. So they're kind of So they're kind of saying, you know, don't be proud. You know what I mean? Because you know some people kind of think, oh no, I can't do that. I can't claim that. I can't do it. Go for everything, they're saying. You get everything that you're kind of entitled to. So they're kind of saying, please do that. Please don't be and they're just coming with ever so much love. She's got quite a gang there behind her. But yeah, this and he's showing me a cup moving as well. So I kind of feel that watch out for the cup, the mug, the cup on the kitchen side moving, or something moving across, because I feel that they're going to really try and like, it reminds me of Ghost. You know the film Ghost, where they're trying to do things.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I kind of feel this young man has had lots of practice now, so that's the kind of thing he does. So and they're leaving all their love, but they'll let her know that she's there and that she's with her. Yeah. So
I'm sure she'll like that.
oh well, they're very different. They're very different characters and energies, though, as they come in. I kind of feel
Yes.
there's very different energies. So, I kind of hope that helps, or that kind of. I want to come.
Sure, it will do.
Yeah, I want to come to Alex. Yeah, kind of like because I kind of feel like with Alex, I feel I've got these two guides that kind of come in, kind of wanting to work with him. So I kind of feel that I feel that he's going to be one of these very lucky people that's quite natural. Okay. And they're kind of saying that kind of like he also is strong on intuition, like empathy, intuition, feeling. Okay. I feel that's his strongest, not the seeing, not the kind of hearing, but just knowing, like a feeling. And I kind of feel as these guides come in, they're talking about not concentrating too much on what he sees and what he hears, or that if he doesn't see or hear, or kind of, but what do I know? What do I feel? And going with that kind of knowing that because actually that's the strongest gift. People forget that, because we can, if you think about meeting somebody on the street, they can be all smiley and lovely, and they can be, kind of like say the right things to us, but something underneath, you just know, don't you? You just feel it. There's just that feeling that something, I don't know about you, or I don't kind of like and I kind of feel with Alex, he's really good with that feeling, with that knowing, with that kind of and I kind of feel the spirit of wanting you to really concentrate on that. Okay. Also, they're saying you've got a bit of a monkey mind. So kind of when it comes to meditation, so kind of like you kind of go off a little bit, and then you're like, oh, where am I going? But I kind of feel, I don't know whether that's your personality anyway. You're very kind of changeable in what you like to do, like an all or nothing type thing. But they're kind of saying, maybe try some guided, where you're guided, so that you're listening to a voice taking you off, or listening to kind of like and that I don't know whether you've done some, because they're talking about TM, so that's transcendental, isn't it? Meditation, TM.
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of they're talking about that too. So I don't know whether but I kind of feel like I've got these two very, very different guides with you. So I feel one of them may be kind of on that kind of Buddhist or kind of energy about him, the with the TM, and the kind of, because he's showing me the ruins, kind of the Buddhas and the ruins and that kind of thing. So I don't know whether you've got Buddhas around your home, or you've got kind of that kind of an interest in Buddhism, but I feel it will come from him or come from them. But I kind of feel very excited, because I kind of feel that you're not going to be one of these people that will take forever to learn. I feel that you'll very quickly go far, or be able to work with us. So I hope that helps.
I'm sure it will do, and I'm sure he'll get back to us. I know she's up there somewhere. I think she's further up the list. Diane's always wanting to, she's got a job. It's a bit of a tedious job. She works nights. But I think she's wanting to do something else.
Well, for Diane, for the strange reason, they're showing me business cards, or like like Vistaprint. They're showing me like Vistaprint, like the cards that you have made.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether she's thought about doing her own business, or learning something so that you can start your own business. And I kind of get this kind of some people will learn lots of different things, and I kind of feel with Diane that she likes learning, or she likes, I kind of feel she's like this sponge. Yes. Likes absorbing knowledge about lots of different things, but also I kind of feel, I don't know, I feel this may be a father figure, or there's a gentleman that comes in on a kind of real paternal link. So if it's not father, it's grandfather. But he talks about that Diane lacks confidence sometimes in herself, or belief in herself, and I kind of feel he says you can do whatever you turn your mind to. You can, whatever you believe, you can achieve it, and you can do. But I kind of feel it's like I've been knocked by life, or I've been knocked by kind of people that I've had in my life that have kind of knocked my confidence a little bit. So they're kind of saying, but they keep showing me these business cards for you. So I kind of feel, if you keep getting thoughts in your head about that kind of changing your direction, or doing something different, do that, learn. But I feel there's going to be some learning involved, a course or something to do with that. I kind of feel you'll do some learning, and I kind of see you doing lots of different learning and adding it all under one umbrella to make a business, or to make, if that makes sense. You know, like some people, they'd kind of do like I say, like healing and mediumship and tarot, and you know, but also they do a bit of Reiki or kind of like massage or whatever. But and not necessarily those things. But I'm kind of feeling like there's a lot of things, a lot of learning ahead for her. But I feel that will, because I just feel it's like, I feel a bit soul destroyed at the moment. That's how life feels a bit with work and that. It just feels a bit soul destroying, or like, you know what I mean? I kind of, and I feel that some of the people like you have around you kind of makes you feel like that, or like, oh, you know, okay. But I just kind of feel, just go for it. Literally just go for it. Get these cards done. Get out there and do it. And I kind of feel all these different courses you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to add under your umbrella, and you'll kind of make a living out of that, or do it that way. And I just kind of feel really excited about that, about you just getting that confidence to say, I can do it, or I can, you know what I mean? And because we all feel a little bit like a imposter syndrome, you know what I mean, when we start, or we kind of I still get as terrified today as I did when I first started, and that was kind of nearly 30 years ago now. And my knees still knock, and I still kind of like, but spirit never let you down. If you're going to work with spirit, so whether it be for healing, for mediumship, however, if you set with the intention of love and doing something with love, and I always say, you know, my prayer before I do any kind of work, if you sit with that intention, spirit will be there. They do not set us up to fail. They don't test us. They don't kind of, you know, they will always have our backs, and whatever you go to do, spirit will help. But also you need to ask. So you need to ask. They can't help unless you ask them, because I quite often hear people saying, well, why didn't spirit do this? And I said, well, did you ask for help? Or did you just expect them to know, you know? And they can't. I think there's a written rule where they can't interfere in our lives unless we ask them to. You know, so ask for help. You know, this kind of thing where you hear people saying about sending out to the universe. Well, I kind of feel that's similar to asking spirit. Okay, you know, kind of like, help me with this. Help me find my way with this. You know what I mean? And trust.
And it usually happens.
Absolutely.
You usually think, oh yeah, really? I can go that way now. Do that.
And it's about synchronicity. Yeah, and watching out for synchronicities, because spirit will keep guiding you in a direction, because you'll see a poster and then someone will say something, or, you know, if something happens 3 times, or you see the same people over and over again, start listening to those. Start listening to the signs, because they give us little signs and little kind of nudges, you know, and it's about us kind of being aware of that, or kind of keeping our eye out for that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure Diane will get back to us as well. I know she just said, I will love her generally. I actually think I'm stuck in this job for life.
No, not at all. It's about, I kind of feel, get on that Vistaprint and get yourself some cards printed. I kind of feel I'm on Vistaprint, get them out there, and just believe in yourself, because I kind of feel that you'll do really well.
Yeah. Right. Yes, we have a young girl. She's not young. I don't know why I say young.
She's in my heart.
I think she's in about 30, something like that.
Well,
she lost her dad quite a few years ago.
Okay.
Her mom's got a new partner, and she misses her dad. And she never asked for any help contacting her father in spirit.
Yeah. I kind of feel as you're talking about him, or again, I've got quite a cheeky character. So I've got someone with a real kind of, you know what I mean, sense of fun, or sense of, I kind of feel that he would have been I kind of feel quite easygoing too. I kind of feel like down to earth, easygoing, this gentleman. Okay. And I feel he misses her too. You know, I feel there's this real kind of bond between them. You know what I mean? I kind of feel they were very lucky to have this connection and this bond. And I feel he's very much around her, very much with her. I feel in dream state. You know what I mean? I kind of feel that again, now he talks about a light by her head. So I don't know whether there's a lamp by her where she sleeps, or a lamp where she sits, but he talks about flickering the light by her head, or by her. So watch out for that. Also, I've got that, you know, like Knockdown Ginger, where people used to ring your doorbell and then nobody was there.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that he may knock for her, or he may. So tell her to be aware of kind of, if you know what I mean, kind of there's a call on the phone, or there's nobody there, that it's him. I do feel he's trying, but I kind of feel like I don't know whether is she worried about mum moving on, or worried about kind of like because I kind of feel that he's okay. He's kind of, you know what I mean. I kind of feel that he came to terms with things, or came, you know what I mean. I kind of feel that happened, you know, a while ago, that he came to terms with all of this, and I kind of feel that because he says, you know, he says I wasn't always he kind of says I wasn't always the greatest on the earth plane. I kind of feel sometimes he says I didn't get things right with how I said it and how I, you know, and I kind of feel maybe that was his very, you know, like some. Well, I kind of think some men like Peter Pan, aren't they? They don't grow up. They're like big kids, really.
Yeah,
okay.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I kind of feel maybe this energy with him, that kind of you know, but he tell her that he's going to let her know in lots of different ways. Also, I keep getting really funny smells, so I don't know whether she keeps. Tell her to watch out for, you know, like if she smells something, where's that come from, and then it goes as quickly as it comes.
Right.
Okay. Because he says she has lots of nice smelling things around her. You know, all these smelly things and whatever, making the house smell nice. So he says she has lots of these. So there's no point in giving her anything. So she might get in the car or go and think, God, she's, you know, smelling herself in her hair. And he's laughing because he thinks it's funny. And it will go as quickly as it comes. And it's just his way of letting her know that she kind of, he's my pops in spirit. He gives me wet dog or fish. They're literally my worst two favorite smells, or least favorite smells, should I say. But I know he's around when I get them,
because she's very artistic. She makes cards, birthday cards, and she's really good at it. She wants pushing, and I've tried to push her. Hopefully I've got her somewhere in Bridge, a shop where she can put her cards on a shelf. Well, and I said, look, she's very artistic that way. She'll make anything for anybody.
Well, I kind of, because there's a lady behind her, and I feel this must be a grandmother with her, that used to love knitting and doing all the kind of, like, you know what I mean, kind of like, so I don't know whether she learned to do that or crochet at some point too, because I kind of feel like this lady's talking about that, or having done the knitting, so maybe kind of being creative in other ways as well, maybe including some material within her work, or some, you know what I mean, kind of textile stuff.
Yeah, I'll let her listen to the show anyway. Yeah. I'll send it to her on a link, and then she can listen to it in her own time.
But her dad's kind of, I kind of feel he's with her. He's got a real jokey. He's got a real kind of like what's the word for it? Kind of like I don't know how to describe his sense of humor, but I don't feel everybody would have got it. He's got, you know what I mean? He's got a real jokey, kind of practical joker kind of side to him. So I kind of feel that but he comes with ever so much love. Okay, I kind of feel he didn't make old bones at all. This was somebody that passed, and they still had a lot of life left in them. Okay, but I do feel the sense of kind of, you know what I mean, at the end, like that.
Right. Yeah. One of the lads does documentaries and things like that. He's paranormal investigator. He's been to Bempton with me and Paul and everything.
Yeah.
He don't believe. He's always saying about psychic mediums. I said, have you ever been to church? No. I don't believe in it. Now,
but I think it's fear. I kind of think with some people, they don't want to know, or it's a fear, or it's, you know what I mean. I kind of think that it's but I suppose it's because it's hard to see, isn't it, when somebody does investigations or does that kind of thing, because you can't have one without the other. You can't, you know what I mean. And
so have you got a little message for Lee Roscoe? They call him. He's a nice lad as well.
Okay.
Genuine guy.
Okay. I kind of feel like I don't know whether somebody keeps shouting out Betty Elizabeth, kind of like so I feel there's a connection with this lady with him, but also she's talking about the pub, or the something to do with the pub, a late night in the pub, or the kind of like and a lady walking through, or I'm trying to get that kind of sense of what she's talking about. I don't know whether there's going to be an investigation. Does he do investigations, actual investigations?
Yeah, he does a little bit of that as well.
Okay. Well, she's talking about a pub, or like it's like an oldie worldy pub, or this kind of like and I kind of feel in this pub they've been having things like go on behind the bar, you know, like glasses smashing and kind of things within the kind of like dairy. And they're talking about like a lady walking through, so there would have been talk of a lady walking through or whatever. But she says, you know, don't be silly, don't kind of like you know, I kind of feel that it's like she worries and watches over him, or kind of okay, I'm trying to work out what she's trying to show me, or what she's trying to kind of do with me, because I kind of feel that in this place there's been voices heard and all sorts, but I do think that spirit like aren't ever there to be tested, but I kind of feel at some point he'll get the proof that he needs. You know what I mean? He'll just meet the right person at the right time, but just tell him about who is it. Ask him who Elizabeth is, who's Betty, who's Elizabeth. Okay. Yes. And about she was so I kind of feel he may have already done this pub, but she was with him and she was kind of worried about kind of things going on or what was going on. But and this lady walking through keeps talking about this lady walking through, or them talking about the lady walking through. But I just know things were happening behind the bar and in the cellar.
Right, I will do, because what I'll do, I will send him the link so he can listen to it.
Okay. And
because he's usually either working or doing something else, and he always listens to the show later.
Okay. And I don't know why they keep giving me 7124. I don't know whether that's a date or I don't know what that's got. She just keeps talking about 7124. So tell him to kind of
it would mean something.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's a date, because that would be the 7th of January last year, wouldn't it? I don't know, but
yes, it probably means something to him.
Yeah, hopefully. But you know, I always think spirit are never there to be tested, and sometimes people will find their own way in their own time. You know what I mean? And kind of like, you know, and the wonderful thing about this world is that we all think differently, and we, you know what I mean, believe in different things in different ways. Yeah,
and we always work a little bit different as well from everybody else.
Yeah.
Just one quick, for Allison. She's not here tonight. It's unusual for Allison not being here. No. She's looking for another property. She's got about 4 dogs. She's finding it difficult to find somewhere.
Okay. Has she got a problem with her back? Do you know, Bob? Has she got a problem with her lower back or her back?
Might have.
Because as soon as you give me her name, all of a sudden my lower back started hurting, or started kind of like you're talking about the dogs, but I've got all different size dogs, from one kind of like, as I'm kind of hearing that. So I kind of feel there must have been a lot in the family and in her life, but from little ones, yappy ones, to bigger ones. You know what I mean? I've got one here. It's like a bloody horse as it comes in. You know what I mean? Kind of like dribbling. You know, like with the coming in to connect.
But they're just saying, Diane's just saying, Allison has got hip problems.
Oh, that's what I feel across her lower back. The pain is really across her lower back, and it's kind of like I feel that she's suffering with that, and I feel that she really does need to be careful with, you know, like bending down and picking up and moving things, and I kind of feel that they're just wanting her to be really careful, because I kind of feel that she may have a little bit of a disc that's popping out or protruding a little bit, you know what I mean, that's kind of pressing on those nerves going through, because they kind of those nerves go through the hip down into the leg and then go right down into your feet. But I just feel that kind of like she needs to be careful. I do. They're laughing because they're kind of saying sometimes she likes the animals more than she does people.
I can imagine. So I know
that she kind of, you know what I mean, that she kind of like she doesn't suffer fools gladly, does she?
No, she doesn't know.
You know what I mean? And I kind of feel that she knows exactly, kind of like she susses somebody out straight away. And because I feel I've got a lady in spirit that's very much like the same. She would have been like that. She'd have, you know, there'd be no nonsense, no messing, no kind of like just Diane. No, Allison's quite a good cook, is she? Quite a good baker or cook?
Yes.
I kind of feel that she gets, well, this lady says she gets that from me. So I kind of feel there's this kind of like real similarity into these energies. Yes. I don't know whether this lady she comes in is taking me, and she's showing me like really swollen legs, or kind of like sore and swollen legs. So I don't know whether this is her in spirit, or whether this is something that Allison is suffering with too, a little bit too. But I kind of feel like I need to put my legs up if it is. But she just comes with ever so much love. Bob, can I give you a message?
Yes, yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Okay, I kind of like I've got and it's funny because I kind of like one of these lovely energies that I've got coming in to talk to me. I know very well and you know very well. And I kind of think, oh, hello. And actually, he was one of the loveliest people. She cooks for her job. They're just showing me that she's a real good cook. But our lovely Derek, kind of
Yes,
like,
I do. Yeah,
kind
Derek.
of,
Yeah.
yeah. I kind of feel he's tried to kind of he's been going around trying to let people know that he's around or he's with them. So don't be surprised if you get a message from him or something that kind of is only between you and him, or something that only you and him know. Okay, because he's talking about knocking too, or okay, and he's talking about like the computer closing or something to do with the computer going wrong. I kind of feel like watch out for kind of, and just say to him, oh, you can stop that. You know what I mean, kind of thing. But I kind of feel
He might have done that tonight.
Oh, yes, I didn't think of that. Oh, it might have been. But I do feel he's trying to let you know that he's around. But he said, I kind of feel in the past, I don't know whether they've messed around with the computer with him when you had things with him, or there was some messing to do with the computer. He's kind of talking about this memory of that kind of, you know what I mean? He says, oh, they got up to all sorts, he said, around, you know what I mean? And I kind of feel he's just wanting to come in and be remembered, or kind of say, you know what I mean, I'm with you, and hello. And he's brought another gentleman with him as well. This gentleman's got a beard. He's got a beard, and he kind of talks about this gentleman. He said we're into the same thing, so he must be all kind of, I think with this other gentleman, it must be UFO, all that kind of thing. And
yes.
But he's passed in spirit now, this gentleman too.
I know that is as well. That was somebody at Rendlesham Forest.
Yeah, well, it's somebody that you've talked to and you've had, you know what I mean, you've had chats with and experiences. Yes. And it's like they said they're both interested in the same thing. So he's come in to say hello too, or but he's got this lovely beard, and actually he's got a real nice energy about him too, a real kind of gentle, nice energy.
Yeah, I was only thinking about Derek the other day as well.
Oh, and you know, I kind of like he's lovely, isn't he? He was lovely. Him and Penny, just wonderful kind of, and we do miss seeing him. We do kind of
Oh,
so
yeah.
nice. And that's the first time he's come to talk to me. So kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't get messages from myself. So he's giving me a lot of love too. So that's lovely. He's kind of
that's so nice, you know. Because I do miss Derek.
Yeah.
Because always when I got in touch with him, something was going wrong in his private life.
Yeah.
What had happened. And he'd say, I don't know how you do it, Bob, but you always do it when I'm a bit down or I've done something.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's spirit wanting us to get together.
Yeah. Well, you were a good friend to him, he's saying. You were such a good friend to him. He said, you know what I mean? And he said you'd listen and you'd kind of like, you'd have a good old giggle. You'd put the world to rights. And you know what I mean? And about all sorts. I kind of thought, yeah.
And I've known him since 2014.
Oh, wow. That's a long time, isn't it?
When I first started, I was doing a blog talk radio where you did everything yourself. And, oh, God, people could phone in. And he was one of about the third guest I had on my first shows.
Oh. It's made my heart very happy that he's come to talk to you tonight, because it's meant that I can connect with his lovely energies. Because he's one of those people, a bit like you, Bob, that when you meet them, you know, you meet some people in life that you just like, right, you know what I mean, straight away, and you know they're genuine, and you know they're kind of like so it's wonderful. That he's
and Derek did. Can you remember with Derek in Rendlesham Forest? He found a spot where he could do some healing.
Yeah, yeah.
And the government shut him down.
Yeah.
How sad is that?
Well, they closed it off, didn't they? And stopped
it off completely. He said I was doing some healing with somebody in a wheelchair, and the helicopter came over. And then next time I went, it was all cordoned off. I couldn't even get to it.
Yeah. Well, him and Penny sat with us we had a very kind of physical kind of like a circle that we sat on with friends that was very kind of like busy physically, and him and Penny sat on that, and we kind of thought that kind of like Penny said, oh, Derek will kind of like you know, and actually Penny screamed the whole way through it. I think the spirit terrorized her.
Oh yes, Derek told me about that.
He loved it. He just he really loved it, and it gave him a real kind of insight, I think, into mediumship or
he did, because we spoke about it on one of the shows.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Me all about it.
Oh,
I had him on the show, and I said, tell us all about it. What happened when you went into that room, and what were touching you, and you said I was screaming out, and
they both, and it's kind of like but I think they both loved it, because it's a real, I think sitting on something like that kind of it's real evidence of spirit and what they can do. They used to plait my hair, tickle my feet. You know what I mean? They used to pull Tony's trousers off and tie them together and take our socks off and cover us in water and you name it. They'd write and do all sorts. So I kind of think and it's strange because my dad's been poorly. Diane, and I was talking to him the other day, and he actually came and sat. So he was like an army man and bomb disposal and all that. So you'd never have thought he'd have got into this way of life. But I suppose seeing me work and doing different things has kind of opened his eyes. And he has healing with John now regularly. But he sat on that circle, and he said that sitting on that has taken away his fear of death because it's shown him without question that there's another, you know what I mean, that there's more than that. There's,
Oh,
you know,
God,
yeah, you can't get any better evidence than doing something like that. But yes,
You can.
Alex Derrick was wonderful. He really was the most wonderful.
Oh,
They don't
great
make many
guy.
like him, do they?
And Alex has been to Bempton as well as, yeah, it was me and Paul's best friends.
Yeah,
When
well,
he
he's
always
come,
came up. He
yeah,
always wanted to go to Bempton. He thought Bempton was strange. He always talked about, he said, I don't like that Bempton. I don't know how you and Paul go up there and make it night time.
yeah.
It frightens me, Bob. I said, yo, but Derek, you will love all like that.
Yeah. But he just comes in with so much love and so much fondness, and I kind of feel that. So I feel that you're going to dream of him in the next week or so, or you're going to, and he's going to kind of come and chat with you and kind of, you know what I mean, let you know
It'd be good.
he's
It'd be
with
good.
you. Yeah.
Gosh, I'll probably see him. He'll probably come in this room.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know what he keeps giving you. I don't know why. Because I don't know that you drink or whatever. But he keeps giving you a can of beer, like out of a can. So I don't know what that's about, or what kind of like, you know, like just a tin of lager, cheap old lager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He for some reason he's giving you like he says, and funny now he's saying, well, not just one. He says you can have the 4-pack. You know, you can have
He's lovely. You know, what a great character he was, you know.
Oh.
And having to go so sudden.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd only had him on show weeks before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come up here. They were going to come back up here to see me, come to see you as well.
Yeah. We hadn't we hadn't long seen them. You know what I mean? It was a real kind of a real shock. It's you know, and they say that the good die young, don't they? They say that they take.
They do. The young die too young, I think. Sometimes.
We must be wicked, Bob. We must be.
I know. Right then, we come to the end of the show. Where can everybody find you? So
I'm Susie Luden on Facebook. So if you look under Susie Luden, Luddon, or you can find us on it's his healinghands.co.uk. So you can find us on that website too. So
right. Yeah. And you've got some do's coming up, haven't you? Where you can go on classes or
so look on if you go on to Susie Luden on Facebook, I think there's only one, or Psychic Susie, or kind of I'm Psychic Susie. But if you go on them and just add me, and then all of my stuff I post on there. So any classes, or if you want to know about the healing, it's ICSP healing.com. So you can find out about the healing if you go there and contact me that way. But yeah, just message me. I'm quite happy to talk to anybody anytime. You know what I mean? I'm really easygoing like that.
Diane's just saying, Susie, I've just realised what the cards are. I hand out because I'm a mental health first aider at work, as well as doing my job. Maybe I take mental health further. I do feel there's some good learning. So whatever course, there's going to be courses or learning. But I see you getting them printed out. Some new, you must have run out of your cards then and need new ones. Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure she will do as well. Because she's a lovely person as well. She's been to Breda quite a few times with Allison. I always meet with them for fish and chips. Oh, lovely. And I go to Bempton. Do you know, we've not been there. Is that the cliffs, isn't it? Where the bird sanctuary is. Yeah. But it's a strange place to be. Yeah, someone was talking about kind of the book. There's a book being written, or the kind of Paul's wrote. Paul's wrote about 4 or 5 books. on
Yeah.
Truth Proof. There's lots of different things, sightings in there, werewolves, loads of different things,
Oh wow.
UFOs. I've seen a triangle in the sea moving around.
Wow.
I've seen all sorts, seen lots of different lights appear in the middle of a field.
Oh, I mean, there's so much more than we know. There isn't there? There's just. I went to a really fascinating talk years ago. I think it was Penny and Derek. I can't remember. About crop circles, and I'd never seen anything, and it was just incredible. It was just, kind of like you learn something new. I kind of think, there's so much we don't know, and sometimes.
No, what I think is these hot spots, like they say, Rednelson.
Yeah.
There's Bempton. There's places in America all over the place. Skinwalker Ranch. There's all these hot spots in different places.
Yeah.
They could be connected by ley lines, anything like that. But at least you could step in another area and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But these hot spots, you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it?
By the time you've got your phone out or your camera out, it's gone.
But I kind of think nowadays, kind of whatever even if you caught something or saw something, people wouldn't believe it, would they? Because they'd just think it was AI generated, or they'd think, you know what I mean? I think nowadays
Paul saw the Black Panther at Benton way back home one night, and it was October 28th in 2017. We're talking about these orange lights we see in the sky, and we're going down the road, and we went, look at that in front of the car, a bloody Black Panther coming across the road.
It's incredible, isn't
10
it?
seconds earlier would have killed it.
Oh,
that's how close it got.
Yeah.
And we stopped the car. I get out of the car. I don't know why. I'm looking at bloody.
Oh, that's probably not the best.
What are you doing?
No.
And because, and best bye-bye, if Paul had a camera on his car, would have been worth a few quid now. And he hadn't got a camera in his car. We didn't have his phones out or anything. Just one of those things.
Yeah. Has he caught a lot of things then on camera? A lot of stuff, kind of lights and things like that.
Oh yeah. I got an unusual. We're up there summer, quite a few years ago. I says to Paul, "What's that bird up there?" He said, "I think it's falcon." When I looked across on the field, I saw this black object. So I thought, I'm going to take a photo of that. Took the photo. Paul said, "What you took?" I said, "This." Look, bloody hell, what's that? We'd looked, it vanished outside the hill. It gone. This black object. It was like, it looked like something bent over. Could have been, I don't know. Anyway, Paul went, "Right, I'm off." We got there in 3 minutes. Nothing there at all. Nothing.
Incredible.
Did the portal open up and I took that photo? Unbelievable. It just gone in seconds from when I took that photo. And I shouted to Paul, "Come and look at this." We looked up and it vanished. Why didn't you tell me? I said, "Chris, it was so quick. I had to take the photo of it."
Yeah.
If I'd have shouted for you, I'd have missed it probably.
And I hear so much more that we're going to start seeing more and experiencing more, that they're going to, you know what I mean? I do believe that.
I think we'll be seeing more UFOs this year.
Yeah. But I always say though, with AI and everything, people just wouldn't believe it, would they? Most people would poo-poo and kind of explain it away. But
they still do today. When I talk to people, they say, "Oh, don't be stupid."
Yeah.
I say, "Well, you've never been to Bempton. A lot of people, bird watchers up there, never look up. If I said in the middle of summer, 'Oh, there's a UFO up there,' they wouldn't even see it because they'd be looking at birds."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's happened there.
Yeah.
Somebody was up there one year and they were over because there's an old RAF base up there and it's all underground. It was like a secret thing. And one bloke saw a UFO gliding over it. He said there were hundreds of people around there. Not one person saw it.
But do you not think that a lot of these hotspots are over bases, or there's military, some kind of
bases? I do.
Yeah,
I do, because I know we interviewed a guy who worked on that base as a young lad, and his job at the night time was to go out with a camera and take photos of unusual subjects.
Yeah.
And he says to us, don't you, he said, you and Paul should never ever go up there alone on your own. They are watching you.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, there's 1, 2, and 3 come out. I said, come out? Well, who comes out? He said, aliens up at Bempton. Having portals.
And I kind of think but Derek used to talk about and he was so like down to earth and convincing that there was so much that kind of he talked about that you just kind of, you know, took it on board. But I do think sometimes I kind of think there's lots I don't know, and sometimes I don't want to know. I kind of think, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for that little information about Derek.
Oh. Well, he'll let you know he's around. He'll kind of.
Oh, I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he'll get in touch. I'm sure he's looking down on me and saying, "Get up to Bempton. There's going to be more happening this year."
Oh, he'll let you know.
You're going to get some on photos and.
Well, he knows about it now, doesn't he? He knows all the secrets. He knows, you know what I mean? He's kind of like he's got all the knowledge now. I bet, kind of, you know, he's probably driving them mad, wanting to know everything about everything.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, this my guest on next Wednesday is Peter Robbins from Canada. He's a great guy, Peter. He's been on my show quite a few times. He's at conferences in the UK and America all year round. He's a fantastic guy. He's been to Hull quite a few times to the conference in Hull, and I've met him with his sister as well. So it's quite nice. He's next Wednesday. Right. Yeah, next Wednesday, the 2nd of July, it's Peter Robbins. And then the 4th of July is Tom Whitmore. He's from America as well. He's going to talk about UFOs. So, yeah, so thank you to everybody. It's been great as usual. I know we had difficulties at the beginning, but we've got over that stage now.